Hello, Renee Flamont here. Minnie just woke up. I don't know if you noticed, but the last two videos she was sleeping the whole time. I go to take the photo for this video, which I've learned to do before the video, and she popped up for the photo, huh, baby doll? She's so tired. Her life is exhausting. All the love and cuddles. You guys, this is a big one, and I'm still learning this. You guys. Do not confuse if your life right now feels mundane or quiet or not charged or not exciting and you don't really have highs and lows, but you got a lot of medium. We can't confuse safety with boredom. You're keeping yourself safe by having any of the behavior we discussed in the last two videos. You're keeping yourself safe from any of that, right? So you're protecting your space and you're not allowing anything in. You're not allowing a second narcissist. You're not allowing it. You're taking time. If you meet someone, you're going slowly. You're holding up boundaries. You are staying here. It may start to feel boring. There are reasons for this that we're going to get into. I'll unpack it, but you're starting to be bored. You need a little shake-up. And you might say, no way. If you've arrived where I've arrived, and I'm saying, no way, I love it here, I love being alone, I don't get bored, you might be there. That's the best place to land. But some people on the way to getting there, mistaken the fact that they're keeping themselves safe and quiet and in a place of nurture and it feels safe, they're mistaking that for being bored. So our self-conscious, because of our warped mind that we discussed Monday, is going to maybe chirp away at you to go back out and find somebody else as a distraction from the pain, as to fill in the gap that he left, to be able to have a companion for whatever reasons. And you're going to bring maybe something bad into your safe space again, not wanting to see it as bad or havoc or the chaos that will ensue if you bring another one in. You don't want to see that. You just don't want to be bored because you're thinking about your other narcissist and you want to get out of this pain and you don't want to deal with this pain. You want to cover it. You want to make it go away. When you have the after effects that are all in your brain swirling around from a narcissist, you got to deal with those. We talked about that. I won't go off on a tangent. You got to deal with those before you embark. And when you do, then you'll realize and come to find out that safety is where you should exist. And whether you're bored or not, take up knitting. Don't go out and bring chaos into your space because you're bored. You're safe. When you spent time with narcissist people, and I told you at the top of this video, I'm still learning this, by the way. When you spend time with these people, there's always drama, fighting. We're going to get right into explaining this. Tears, crying, begging, screaming, pleading, more yelling, and more everything, right? All drama. Broken windows, things thrown. Drama, 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 drama. Furthermore, if you've grown up in a dramatic household, it can add to your confusion even more and set you up to accept more than you should. It really can. And when you end up again, okay, so that happens, accept more than you should, you've lived nothing but chaos, and now it's quiet. I don't mean you're bored, like, yeah, I can feel it, I'm bored. No, what happens to our system becomes accustomed physiologically to the high level of dysfunction. We don't consciously want it. That's not what I mean by you're bored and you're inviting things. We don't consciously want the chaos, and to ourselves we're saying, oh, I'm so glad to be out of it. I'm not saying we create it on purpose or even gravitate towards it on purpose. But what we can do and what can happen is that we crave the choppy waters. The still waters seem too quiet for those that have been in this situation. It is a real thing. If you've never recognized it or thought about it, that's why I'm making this. I want you to. Oh my God, I thought there was a bug on me. Whoo, you almost saw Renee Flint. It was a piece of lint from the blanket. And it is a real thing. And I've seen people go back out there to replace one with another. I've done it to fill the quiet. Now I recognize the quiet as a safe space. I thought if there weren't extremes of emotion involved, that it couldn't possibly be anything special. Do you believe that? Please believe it, because it could be happening to you without knowing. I convinced myself while in the cycle of all the ups and the downs and the ups and the downs I convinced myself that was indicative that something real was here. We go so up and high. That's just demonstrative of how much feeling is here. The ups and the downs. No one would go through that if they didn't feel so much. You make me upset. I would get told this. I get so upset because I love you so much. I don't want you to be upset like that. And it kills me that I did that to you. And you don't deserve it, and I'm so sorry. So he's selling his bad behavior to me as he hates it himself. So now I'm teetering on remaining in the situation because he's trying to make me feel safe. You should never feel safe with a narcissist from the turmoil they bring into your life. Never. I'm safe over here. Now, am I standing off away from the world? Absolutely not. I'm willing to meet anybody, but I'll call you out on your behavior and I'll know from a mile away, I hope, if there's some kind of dysfunctional person. I'm not letting my safety be interrupted. My quiet, the peace I've created for myself, worked on, toiled through to get, cried to get, disco danced. I couldn't even count the hours. So to make sure I was laughing and smiling. Fake it till you make it. And now I'm here. And part of the reason what happens when our system gets used to all of this, we become desensitized to the loud. We become desensitized to the anger, to the yelling, even if we're crying. Oh, well, it's just another day, and you wallow in the pain, and it's dramatic, and it's creative, and it's infused with all this passion and feeling. We normalize everything I just mentioned, and when it's not present, we mistake that quiet for a lack of passion. We misinterpret smooth relations as boring or just not charged enough. I didn't feel the heat. Remember, and this is finally getting to my point after almost 9 minutes, not my point, the whole thing's been my point, but I want you to remember much of this is indeed chemical. I'll just discuss my own experience. I was so used to feeling a charge of adrenaline and cortisol during a fight. Any fight with anybody. Partner, family, friend, it doesn't matter. Growing up, we were yellers. I'm half Italian, half French. The Italian side, we yell. I mean, the women in my family, they're like professionals. Yeah. It's loud. So as a result, it felt odd to me when there was not a fight or a problem. People that I've met that it just seems smooth sailing, I'm almost out of sorts. You almost learn to interpret fighting as passion. I can have passion without fighting in my safe space. I can find that. Thank you very much. I don't need to be in the middle of chaos to feel passion. I've learned they're not connected. My accepting it was connected. I was used to that. Dramatic environment, anything can go down. I'm not fazed. I've seen a lot. I grew up in Rhode Island. There's a lot of Italian people. And we're all loud and dramatic and tempers flare. Yeah. So the very dangerous territory of interpreting fighting as passion is what I also want to bring to your awareness, so that the next time you have a chaotic situation, you make sure you understand, if you didn't have that in your life, you wouldn't be bored. It's just the chemicals need to be fed, right? Adrenaline, cortisol. You've been feeding those forever, your whole life in my case. Oh, my whole life. Everything's, if I pass the mayonnaise, could be a fight, or a yell, or a loud, or a volume, or, there's clanking, and maybe it's laughter, but everything's loud. And when it's quiet, it can throw people. And your brain is saying, where's your adrenaline? Where's your cortisol? Those are chemicals. You have to remember too, it will make you sell yourself that when fighting does happen, it's fine. How many times have you heard someone say, oh, everybody fights? No, you know what? Not the kind that we do with the narcissist. That's not everybody. And it's not normal, it's not welcome, and it's not necessary. You can disagree with anybody, can't you talk? But they're betraying us. They're lying to us. They're using all these tactics. It's not just the action that they did. It's the actions all around their actions that bring us to a boiling point. And if you are someone who would otherwise have a quiet life, that fills your day. You might be somebody that craves that for reasons in your own life. Or it doesn't bother. Like, I didn't care. Oh, please. I was down for a fight. It's like an old suit. I put it on. I was good for 12 hours. How many rounds you want to go? Not physically, but you know what I mean? I'll stay up all night. And I thought I was doing something, making him talk to me for 3 hours, 6 hours. But you're not getting anywhere anyway. So all the trouble can go, and I will sit here in my safety zone, and I am never bored one day. I don't any longer crave that adrenaline and cortisol because I made myself sit here through it. I don't know if there's a withdrawal from those kind of chemicals. I bet there is. I bet that's part and parcel the reason we're tempted to call them. We're dying for them, but what are you dying for? It could be your body telling you crave adrenaline and cortisol, so you reach out to your narcissist knowing trouble will eventually ensue, and you'll get your adrenaline and cortisol. Recognize it as you're just, maybe you kind of are bored, kind of like a little bit, but you can't be like, no, you got to learn how to fill your day, fill your time, fill your interests, get your adrenaline and cortisol somewhere else. And I think we all do that. It's okay. I think we all do that we sell ourselves that when the fighting does happen, oh, this is normal. I remember myself saying that. Oh, well, I've done this with every person. Yeah, because I keep picking narcissists. That's why. There are plenty of relationships where people don't have it out the way we do with a narcissist. No, we don't know what happens behind closed doors. I feel like I always say that whenever I mention other people. But I do know people that aren't fighting at each other and rip at each other's throats behind closed doors or in front of people. I don't want that kind of trouble. It is absolutely not welcome here. And having become so desensitized to the loud, chaotic mess that can be the narcissist, I had to snap myself back into, which led me to this week's whole theme, snap myself back into seeing the behavior for as horrific as it was. So I started to look at the behavior. The fighting, it didn't bother me. It's awful. Of course it bothers you. You're up, blah, blah, blah. But I mean, the stuff they do. I don't want that in my safety zone. And I was so used to the charge of adrenaline and cortisol during a fight that it felt odd to me when there was not a fight or a problem. And for that reason, which I mentioned this a second ago, but I wanted to just say, was I ever causing a fight, I wonder? Picking at them? Responding in a way that I knew that they would, like, say there was a dull moment with my narcissist. I've rewound a lot. I bet there were days that I would pick a fight or react a certain way knowing I'll get a response. Because at one point with the narcissist, we just crave attention from them when they do their cold shoulder thing. So I wonder, I can see myself doing that, trying to get some kind of reaction. You're in the middle of a silent treatment, they're not talking to you for a few days, whatever, and you do something to get a charge, kind of like a kid wants, even if it's negative attention, they want that. I got to own it. Like, have we done that? Because I was so used to it that I needed it. And I feel like they don't, care if they're continually fighting, because they know that keeps them, they know that you're engaged enough in their company, you're invested enough that you'll throw down. Makes them feel powerful. I don't think everyone doesn't see it. I mean, I think everyone sees it. I don't think everyone does this, though, accepts this kind of fighting. And I don't think everyone thinks fighting is normal or accepts it in their life because they were used to it. There are people that don't. Imagine a relationship where you don't fight over every single thing. They exist, and that's what we should all want for ourselves. Debate is healthy, but the level of fighting that comes with being tied up with a narcissist is beyond the scope of normal, way beyond. The other part is the good that we're made to feel. The narcissist usually presents extremes of bad and good. Since the good comes with the love bombing, it generally gets you to this high place of dopamine and endorphins. And once they kick in, it's really intoxicating. And you may not get those from a regular Joe that's meeting you. And then you think that this can't be real because I'm not feeling a surge. Just a regular nice person, and he doesn't challenge you at every nice turn, may sound boring. Because you want the rush that happens during that love bombing. And maybe a boring person that doesn't do that the first few days, and they're trying to go at a normal pace, maybe that doesn't hold your interest. I think that the mistaking the frantic for passion is what concerns me. We have to turn around this notion that calm is somehow bad, that quiet is not as exciting. I'm telling you right now, I never again want to be as overstimulated as I was with all of the bad going on inside me back then. I rather enjoy my quiet, simple life. I no longer crave the highs and the lows that the narcissist can bring. I've learned to look at it, and I had to admit to myself that I indeed was trauma bonded so many times in different relationships that I remained in them, thinking they were normal or thinking the extra they provided meant they were special instead of dysfunctional. I didn't like learning that about myself, but it certainly was the truth. I craved the fight, the urgency, the making up, also urgent. I've been on so many a hamster wheel while waiting for the good to show. What I crave now is this quiet that I've allowed my life to become. This peace, and I will not interrupt it for anyone. I crave this peace. I will no longer give over my serene space to someone who intends to wreck it. They can keep their havoc and bestow it upon someone else. I no longer misinterpret wild for fun, or unpredictable for exciting, or moody for sensitive. The list goes on. I am safe as I sit here, and if I decide to go out into the world, I'll be safe too, because I know what to spot. I will never again compromise my state of being, because I was confused about what intimacy should feel like. I know it shouldn't make me sad, mad, upset, and happy and thrilled all in the same 24-hour time. That doesn't seem right. And I don't want it if it takes me on that kind of a ride. And neither should you. The calm is something you should be craving. The calm. The serene is where you should want to reside. learning to listen to no noise, learning to never, my phone doesn't go off. It does with my people, but not from a partner. You got to learn that. Your phone doesn't go off. Nobody, there's no good morning, beautiful, good night, beautiful, whatever the heck you do in the morning. None. No, my phone. Don't care. Don't miss it. Don't want it. Doesn't bother me. I reside in a place of safety and I'm not bored. And the quiet of no activity on my phone has been enlightening for me as well. I'm not one to have my face in my phone all the time, but when you're in a partnership and the narcissist, they call and bother you 800 times a day, oh my God, your whole life is given over to them. I don't miss that. And I don't crave it to fill. When I think about, I was really used to noise in every way. Now I realize what I was doing, and I can separate my old feelings of thinking turmoil was necessary for love, or that it depicted love. I've learned the truth is quite the opposite. Peaceful relationships exist. They just may not feel right to you, to us, at first, if you are indeed someone who has had more trouble than not. The narcissist is really good at selling you the turmoil, and I want you to look at it differently. Finally and plainly, see the disorder. That's what I'd like. I want you to look at everything differently. I want you to finally and plainly see the disorder demonstrated with every noisy action they take. The disruption in your life on a daily basis is not anything that would ever be considered a situation you should have to handle. The things they throw at us are not even things people should have to handle. It's elective. We're electing to stay there. I just wanted to mention this, you guys. My concern is your state of being, your state of mind, and how you can protect yourself. I thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a good weekend, and I'll see you Monday.